is Audrey Mack for our Gospel of the Week. And this week, I want to talk to you about spiritual authenticity. Are you authentic? Are you genuine? What you see is what you get, kind of, you know what I'm talking about? So I want to talk about it. You know, God's greatest desire for us is that we would approach Him. He's a father, but we would be authentic, honest, real with Him. He doesn't want our plastic adoration. He doesn't want our religious duty. He just wants us. The way you are, that's how He loves you. That's how He created you. And that is what He wants from you, you know. And did you know that in Exodus 12, when God got the children of Israel out of Egypt, you remember He started a celebration called the Passover. And He told them to take a lamb and just to kill it and take the blood, put it over the doorpost and the lintel of the door. But the one thing He told them to do first, He said, before you do anything, before you partake of the lamb, I want you to take a feather and go out throughout your house and remove all the leaven. You know, you inspect your house, remove all the leaven, and then from the time you eat the lamb, for 7 days you eat unleavened bread. Now, what was that all about? What is that thing about leaven? Well, you know, Jesus is telling us what leaven is. The Bible interprets the Bible. In Luke 12, verse 1, Jesus says, hey, guys, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. So you see, Jesus hated hypocrisy. And what is hypocrisy? It's like, you know, hypocrates, which means wearing a mask, trying to be somebody you're not, is trying to pretend, you know. And so this is what Jesus really is looking in us, in our heart, in our lives. He wants us to be just us, being real. And do you know, when you look at Jesus in the gospel and you look how He dealt with different people, that is exactly what He was looking for. Are you real? Are you transparent? Are you honest? Are you truthful? For example, you remember Nathaniel? I love that. Nathaniel obviously was under a fig tree, and I don't know what he said, I don't know what he did, but then later when he met Jesus, you know, and he heard about Jesus and he said, Jesus from Nazareth, does anything good come out of Nazareth? You know, that was not a compliment, by the way. And when Jesus met him, He said, I saw you under the fig tree. He said, here is a man in whom there is no guile, no deceit. In other words, He so appreciated just Nathaniel just being himself with no falsehood. You see, he didn't go and said, oh, the Messiah, you know, like behind he would say, oh, who is that guy? I don't know what comes out of Nazareth. And then you see Jesus and he goes, oh, you must be, you know, being two-faced. He was just real and honest. And what you saw is what you got. And Jesus loved that. We see that all through the gospel, that every time he met Jesus that were real, it blessed him. He loved it. You remember the woman, the Syrophoenician, or the woman at the well? Here's a good one. Here is that woman, you know, Jesus asked her for a glass of water, and she said, how can you, you know, a rabbi from Israel, ask me, a Samaritan, for a glass of water? In another word, it's like, I'm really kind of impure for you, and why are you asking me water? And then Jesus started to, you know, give her a few words and said, yeah, I know you. You've been married 4 times, and the man with whom you live is not your husband. She right there would have had an opportunity to pretend to be and said, oh, no, what do you think? I've got it all together. I know, you know, she could have wear a facade, but she didn't. She said, you are the man who told everything about me, who knew. And there she humbled herself. And because she admitted to the truth, She didn't pretend to be somebody she was not. And she admitted to, yeah, you're right. I was married 4 times and now I'm living in immorality. You know, she was so honest and so real that Jesus all of a sudden revealed himself to her as the Messiah. And that woman, man, she turned around and became an evangelist. She went and started a revival in the town. I love that. Why was she able? I mean, she was the first person in the city that had an encounter with God, and she saw God for who he was because she was honest and real. Oh, I love that. And you know, there is another woman, the Syrophoenician woman, when she cried out after Jesus, "Oh, Son of David, have mercy on me." She was appealing, or she was calling on a covenant that didn't belong to her. And even worse, she belonged to a nation that had no honor or no respect for the things of God. And here she cries out after Jesus saying, "My daughter has a demon, you know, Son of David, have mercy," which was a covenant that belonged to the Jews. And Jesus ignored her. He ignored her, plain ignored her. And then finally the disciple says, "Hey, Jesus, could you just do something with this woman? She's kind of following after you." And Jesus listened to that. He says, "Hey, woman, it's not good to take the children's bread and give it to the little dogs." He called her a dog. She could have all of a sudden wear a facade and said, "Who do you think you are? You know, I'm a woman, from this and that, and I've got that much money in my bank and this and that. If you knew who I was." She didn't. She was honest. She was real. She admitted when she said, "Yeah, you're right." You know, she admitted that her nation, they were like dogs, which had no honor for the things of God. She said, "Yeah, you're right." But she said, "But if a little crumb falls for the master's table, that's enough." And Jesus was amazed, and he's like, wow. Because she was so humble, she admitted the truth. She didn't pretend to be somebody she was not. She was real. And God, he was impressed. It was not often that Jesus was impressed, but he was impressed with her humility. She didn't get offended. She was herself. She admitted to the condition of her nation. She admitted she didn't have a right to the covenant. She admitted that what she did was wrong. She admitted all of that, and she became real. And the moment she became real and just low, and appealed to the compassion and the love of God, God met her right there, and he healed her daughter. You see, that is what God is looking. He's looking for honor. That is the reason why, in John 4, verse 23 and 24, he says, God is looking for worshipers that will worship him in spirit and in truth. Or I could add, that approach him being real, being themselves, being honest, without any deceit or falsehood or pretense. Now let me say something and send a stark warning. At the beginning of the early church, there was such a glory, there was such a power, manifest presence of God, which is called the glory, that when a couple went to the church, pretending to be somebody they were not, because the Bible said there was a certain man, Ananias and Sapphira. Now, he didn't say there was a certain disciple, because we find out later in Acts chapter 9, God says there was a certain disciple, Ananias, the one that went to lay hands on Paul. But here it said there was a certain man, Ananias and his wife Sapphira. They came in the church that was full of glory. And what did they do? They pretend to be somebody they were not. They lied. There was deceit in their heart. They were not transparent. They said, "Hey, we sold a piece of land and here we are bringing it." Barnabas did that and received favor. So they came and said, "Hey, here, look at us. We did the same." But they lied. They pretended. There was so much hypocrisy and pretense. They fell dead. Then later the wife came and she lied. And he said, "Did your husband sell the property for that much?" She said, "Oh yeah, that's right." There was so much deceit, hypocrisy. Bam, she died again. My friend, I'm here to tell you, we are getting ready to enter into another revival, another awakening. We are there, where the glory of God is going to be so strong, because the Bible said that if the former rain, there was the former rain on the day of Pentecost, he said there is going to be a latter rain that will be far greater than the former rain. In other words, the glory of the former church is nothing compared to the glory of the end time church. We are getting ready to see so much glory. So it is not a time for us people to be deceitful, to be false, to be lying, to be a hypocrite. God is looking for people that will worship Him with truth. Be truthful, be real, be honest yourself. That's what you see is what you get, because that is what God wants, and that is what He's looking for. So just be you and be real. God bless you. See you soon.